So let's start with the fact that you have found 8 cases that you know of this variant right now. How are you approaching that? I mean, we've seen some places, I think about Europe, I think about UK, for example, where restrictions have been put in place in a much more aggressive way in light of some of these variants. Are you considering those types of actions right now, or are you looking to basically keep things as is in terms of the Connecticut economy?
Keep things as is regarding the Connecticut economy. But look, we're following that like a hawk. I mean, you said your markets are all red, at least here in Northeast, and I think across the country, there is some blue sky on the COVID front. Our infection rate continues to trend down. We have good capacity in our hospitals. So we're continuing to open up cautiously. But you're right. The one worry we've got is the highly infectious strain. We see how that's hitting Europe pretty hard. So we're watching that.
So in terms of the vaccine rollout, I guess give us an update, especially as we've heard President Biden say that he is looking to give states such as yours a longer lead time in terms of supplies, 3 weeks instead of 1.
Yeah, Jeff Zients, his coordinator, he comes out of business. He knows what we need. You know, for the last month, we've been getting our vaccines from Operation Warp Speed on sort of a regular basis. But we'd love to have a little window. We'd like to see what it's going to look like, not just next week, for the next 3 weeks. So we know who to hire and how many mass vaccination centers we can support. I think most governors have caught up at this point. We can supply a lot more vaccines, get a lot more people vaccinated. What we need to know is the supply. Next week is good. We're going to get almost 10,000 additional doses. So the trend is positive.
Yeah, the dosage, the supply forecasts are more encouraging, Governor. More discussion about supplying directly to pharmacies and retail. Walmart's out this morning and they say, look, we've got 5,000 Walmarts and Sam's Clubs that are operationally and clinically ready to administer vaccines. Do you see the points of access getting much brighter in the coming weeks?
I do. Those retail outlets will greatly expand. Like I said, we've got football stadiums and other mass drive-through facilities. But what we have to work on is make sure those underserved populations that maybe can't book by internet, maybe don't have access to a car, we got to get to those populations and make sure they get their vaccine as well.
Well, Governor, your state was lauded initially, at least, in terms of the success of your rollout of the vaccine. I mean, when do you see getting from those who are over 75 or over 65 down sort of into people who are not as high risk?
Yeah, we have over a third of our 75-year-olds and above have been vaccinated. All of our nursing homes have been vaccinated. So that's helping in our hospitals, for example. So my guess is it'll probably take another couple of weeks or so before we open up to the next group, which is 65 and above. Again, that age group, they're the ones most likely to suffer complications.
Governor, let's talk about budget and budget forecasts. It looks like you are forecasting a budget deficit that is dramatically narrower than I think had originally been expected. Talk us through what you're seeing in terms of that and what that means in terms of what you're looking for from the federal government for additional stimulus.
Yeah, Morgan. So we had a small surplus at the end of the last fiscal year. We'll have a bigger surplus coming forward June 30 of this year. But let's face it, the outgoing years are still a little complicated because revenues are not up or not what we'd want them to be. So that will depend a little bit how much the stimulus helps the economy in general and what type of support we might get. But I think it'd be lousy. You don't want the states have to lay people off or raise taxes. I think the next year or so, what you want is stability, and that allows the economy to get back going again.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.